I was disappointed during the first hearing that Garma did not show up and Leonardo. So ganun naman. So we were still in control of the hearing. Except that we really have a unique personality appearing before us. I requested him to try to minimize or eliminate it. Talagang hindi kaya. I mean, it's really his way of speaking. The subcommittee has no power to cite anybody in contempt. Ha? So,
May foreign consultant na nag-warning doon sa mag-asawa. Tigilan daw ang mag-amang Duterte.
What's up mga kababayan? News That Matters here. Dito sa video natin ngayon ay ating panoorin o pakinggan si Senator Pimentel mga kababayan. Nakaraan lamang siya ang nanguna dito sa Senate hearing patungkol nga sa EJK ni Tatay Digong, no? Na dito sa video natin ngayon ay kanyang sinagot ang mga samot-saring katanungan ng bias media. Na kahit kitang-kita dito, no, na tila'y nagiging bias magtanong ang mga reporter patungkol sa kanya, napakaayos sumagot nitong si Senator Pimentel na tila ba'y pinoprotektahan pa ang pangalan ng mga Duterte, partikular na nga itong si Tatay Digong. At dagdag pang minika niya na talagang magpahanggang ngayon, no? Malakas ang dating ni Tatay Digong at hindi nagbabago yun sa kabila ng kanyang edad at nararamdaman sa katawan. Pero bago ang lahat mga kababayan, huwag niyo po sana kalimutang mag-like at subscribe para updated ka sa mga uploads ko araw-araw. At yun na nga no mga kababayan, dagdag pa rito na bali-balita ngayon sa loob ng Malacanang, no, na ang faksyon ni Tambalos at ni Liza Palaka nag-aaway na mga kababayan, na ating mapapakinggan naman si General Macanas. Kung kaya naman hindi ko na patatagalin pa, ito na ang buong video.
Chairman nga and then to receive the evidence. But then ito yung plano ko talaga because sabi ko nga this is a blue ribbon hearing, so dapat this is about the allegation is someone in government made some questionable actions or decisions, ayun tawag nga na malfeasance, misfeasance, and nonfeasance. Kaya ang aking plano sana, uunahin namin pakinggan yung mga victim families. Umangal yung mga kasama ko, kasi daw we have a former president in our midst. Pakinggan daw muna yung opening statement. So ang compromise na lang namin, sige okay, dahil sa former president na ang witness namin right before us, sabi ko sige okay, pakinggan yung opening statement niya, but ang compromise namin, after him, we will hear the victim families. Yun naman ang nangyari. Yun naman ang natupad. So yun lang yung strategy ko na hindi natupad kasi nga ang gusto ko sana victim families and then former President Duterte. Nagkabaliktad, former President Duterte and then victim families.
Senator, don't you think the other senators could have pressed more on the statements that the former president was making, particularly on for example, the Davao Death Squad, on payments course through Mooking for one, and to focus on what the committee was investigating on, because it turned the other way around, that the resource person was the one asking questions to the senators. And you don't see that all the time. That's why meron po nagsasabi na napunta yung control sa former president and he was acting like he was still boss in this hearing.
Well, okay lang yun. I mean, it will be more natural yung kanyang testimony and it's all recorded. And actually, for example, tinanong niya si Bato. Si Bato naman sumagot. So who are we? Who are we to stop Senator Bato from answering? Pero yung tinanong ni President Duterte yung si Colonel Grijaldo, hindi ko naman pinasagot na si Colonel Grijaldo. Sinabi ko tapos na po yun, sir. Nasagot na po ni Colonel Grijaldo yun. So ganoon naman. So we were still in control of the hearing. Except that we really have a unique personality appearing before us. And ang attitude ko naman ganito okay, this is a person who has served as president. So, siya rin yung nag-implement ng war on drugs. So therefore, siguro marami rin tayong pwedeng matutunan, makuha o maririnig galing sa taong ito na who held the highest post in the land. So that was my attitude. So I let him speak, no? So and then we request actually yung it's just the cursing na medyo na medyo hindi natin na control, although Senator Risa pointed this out and I requested him to try to minimize or eliminate it. Talagang hindi kaya. I mean, it's really his way of speaking. So ito siguro para malaman din pala ninyo, because I'm sure marami tayong mga viewers doon na akala nila na kasi nakita nila sa House hearing yung gaano kabilis yung mag-contempt, di ba? The subcommittee has no power to cite anybody in contempt, ha? So and we would not have done it anyway. But anyway, kung may power to cite wala kami power to cite in contempt. That's in our rules. So the power of the subcommittee is actually to, if there is an unruly person right before you and then you can no longer hold the hearing.
Narinig niyo yun, Tuwad Committee. Buti pang Senate hearing walang cite in contempt. Pero kayo, anong ginagawa nyo? Mga pulpul kayo. Tinatakot nyo si Garma na magsinungaling para sa script nyo. Grabe talaga. Yan ang panakot nyo
Because of this unruly person, siguro the power of the subcommittee is to send out that person who is now disrupting the proceedings. Yung mga curse words, and then if we send him away, then wala na tayong testigo, di ba? So tama rin naman si President Duterte, sabi niya, you invited me here. Actually, he was also invited. So pakinggan natin yung taong inimbita natin.
Senator, speaking of citing in contempt, we had Senator Bato de la Rosa here on the show last night. I'm just gonna play a short soundbite for you to listen to and react. If I could just roll that soundbite of Senator Bato.
As I have said, yung Davao Death Squad creation ng media yan doon sa Davao. May namamatay. Pero yung Death Squad na sabi mo, inorganize talaga yan at organized. I don't think so.
But the former President Duterte also pointed to you during the hearing. Sabi niya at one point, ikaw, Death Squad ka din.
Joke. Sabi niya, joke.
Senator, he was under oath when he said that. Kasi
So what? Bakit? Kung under oath siya, then i-contempt nila.
Okay, so his last line was, kung under oath siya, di in contempt nila, meaning you the Senate, and
Alam nyo, I am the chairman of the subcommittee. Siyempre, mas pinag-aralan ko na yung rules namin. So Senator Bato is just operating under general rules. But Section 20 of our rules, yun yung, actually, Section 20 was quoted in the letter of the Blue Ribbon chairman to me. Ang sabi ng Section 20, you just ask your researchers to look at Section 20 of our Senate rules. Very, very clear po doon. At it's the opening paragraph of the letter of Senator Pia Cayetano to me for forming the subcommittee.
Yeah.
It's very, very clear doon, except the power to cite in contempt under Section 18 of our rules.
Right. So, Senator, I understand that part, that you can't cite him in contempt. But the question is, what do we make of that when they say it's a joke? His testimony is a joke, given he was under oath. And we were trying to find out, everyone was trying to find out, is there a Davao Death Squad? That is the question at the heart of it, right?
When we write the committee report, will we treat it as a joke? Yun ang tanong. Yun ang tanong. But just wait for the committee report. It's too early. I think it's also unfair that after just one hearing, we will already decide and we will already make up our minds. It's too early. I mean, we should have one or two more hearings and then we can now form our opinion. That's why I appreciated your earlier news report that the PNP is moving, because I really intend to invite the PNP chief in the next hearing kasi tatanungin ko nga siya, now that you are the chief, what are you doing? You were, and then tatanungin din natin siya, what was your rank and position during the Duterte administration.
Mm.
And then siyempre mas lower level pa siya noon, di ba? And then tatanungin natin siya. When you were at that rank and position, did you hear this talk about this reward system?
Mm.
Senator,
To be clear, this is PNP Chief General Romel Marbil. You
Correct. The current
Okay.
chief now, yes,
Okay,
Marbil. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I really intend to invite him sa next meeting. But
Okay, thank you.
I saw your news report na kumikilos na rin pala sila. So that's very good.
Okay.
okay. Senator Coco, one of the things that wasn't answered, this is just an addition to what Regina was saying earlier. Yun nga, parang the former president seemed to have several definitions as to what the death squad was, di ba? At alam na natin yan, no? At some point, tinuro niya yung dating PNP chief. At some point, yung gangsters daw. And you have also said that he will not be invited because there is no need for him to be at the succeeding hearings. I guess first question, Senator, may idea na ba tayo kung kailan yung next hearing? And second, how do we plan to answer these questions without the attendance of the former president? And to confirm what he said, kung alin ba talaga dun yung tama or all or none?
Alam mo, it's illogical to get all of our information from one person. We have to do some investigating ourselves, hindi ba?
Correct.
Kasi, sir, ano ba, A, B or C? Yan, gagawin na lang niya. Dadagdagan niya D, E, or F just to confuse everybody. It's illogical to just keep on returning to one person and then and number one, force him to admit something, and then he is so wise that he will not admit it, therefore nothing will happen. So we have to do the investigation ourselves. That's why I will Senate yan. The Senate has to do its own thing, but of course we have the law enforcement agencies. The past 10 years, anong ginawa ninyo? The past 8 years or 10 years, Then sa next hearing, on the question on the next hearing, I was disappointed during the first hearing that Garma did not show up and Leonardo, but they had reasonable or legitimate excuses. So we are reasonable people, so we understand and we will allow it. But the next hearing must be scheduled in such a time or a period that Garma and Leonardo will be present before us.
Apart from the two policemen that you were talking about, are you also planning to look into the other definitions of a Davao Death Squad espoused by the President? Kung yung mga mayayaman daw sa Davao ang nagpopondo nito, at yung mga gangsters. I mean, how do you investigate that? How do you find resource persons with that?
That's a good question for investigators. How do you investigate that? Do you even investigate that? Or swertihan that there is a whistleblower or some witness will volunteer some information. Sometimes swertihan din yan. So that's a very good question. But then
Sa tingin nyo mga kababayan, ano talagang rason bakit hindi pinapunta itong sina Garma at Leonardo? Feel ko na utusan to ng mga tuwad committee na makiramdam muna sa kung anong sasabihin ni FPRRD, kaya hindi pina-attend. Kasi alam nila na baka mabigla itong si Garma, lalo na sila ang frontrunner ng scripted na hearing ng mga Quadcom, baka mabuking na.
Relax lang muna tayo. Basta yung investigators natin ready and then we pursue the topics. But of course, you cannot force the facts to come out if the statement is not true. Di ba? What if it is not true? How can all of a sudden then we can produce the witnesses? So we will just pursue and then investigate. We will rely on the very experienced investigators. Tignan natin yung lead. Ang tawag yata dyan, lead. If there are leads that we can follow.
Yeah.
But if there is no lead that we can follow, wag natin pilitin because ayaw naman natin din na we are not, lang tayo rito, we are just an impartial chairman of an investigation and we want to receive as many testimony and evidence which are credible evidence. We want as much credible evidence that we can get.
Yeah. Senator Coco, I know you have to leave by 8:30, but just one last question very quickly. Former Senator Sonny Trillanes says the transcript of the Senate hearing has been transmitted to the ICC. The transcripts of the Quadcom hearings were previously transmitted already and duly received. I wonder if you know anything about this.
I need to ask the Blue Ribbon staff. Okay. Remember, I am not the chairman of the Blue Ribbon. I am just a chairman of a subcommittee. So I need to ask the staff kung if someone has formally asked for the for certified true copies of transcript and other records.
Senator, I know you are a minority leader, but taking a look at the Senate hearing, it seems though that there were not enough voices to challenge the allies and also the former president. I mean, if taking a look at the whole power dynamic inside the room, do you think the senators could have done better and could do better in the hearings to come?
And you ask them because I gave all of them 10 minutes each. So how they use the time given to them, they should be you asked to explain how they use the time given to them. So at saka, of course, the agenda is not really to pin down the former president, diba? So kanya-kanya, the agenda is to make him appear before us and hear his testimony. So one senator might want to ask some very sharp or very difficult to answer questions. One senator would probably want to praise the former president. So I gave them equal time. You ask them why they used their time that way, the way that they used it. So sagutin na po nila yon sa kanilang mga audience o sa kanilang mga constituents.
Okay.
At yun na nga no mga kababayan, dito naman sa video natin ngayon ay ating pakinggan si General Macanas na kung saan kanyang winika na ang dalawang faksyon sa loob ng Malacanang nag-aaway na mga kababayan. O ating pakinggan to mga kababayan.
Magandang araw mga kaibigan. Pag-usapan natin ngayon ang kumakalat na balita. Maraming post sa social media tungkol nito na may dalawang faksyon sa yung mga powers that be, yung nakapalibot sa presidente. Nahati na, dalawang faksyon na nagkakabanggaan na, nag-away-away na itong dalawang faksyon. Una kong nalaman ito, post ni Crisette Laurita Chu. So, ang isang grupo, basta team, pinapangunahan ng isang babae, yung isang grupo naman, lalaki. Okay. Basta ito, yung malalapit sa Pangulo at si Crisette Laurita Chu, mas gusto niya na manaig yung team ng babae. Kasi doon sa team ng lalaki, wala siyang katiwala. Yung lalaking iyon, yung politikong lalaki, yung babae, alam nyo na. Excuse me. Tapos ngayon, may post na naman itong si Ira V. Panganiban. Simple post lang, sabi niya, may nagagalit na sa pinsan ng asawa niya. So, reading of the comments, ito, yes, true, sabi ni Connie Padilla. May foreign consultant na nag-warning doon sa mag-asawa, tigilan daw ang mag-amang Duterte. Kasi ito na yung nangyari sa Senate hearing. Akala nila lalong madidiin nila ang mga Duterte, biglang sumikat si PRRD. Pinapalakpakan. Talagang nakabangon ang imahe. Galit
Kala
daw yung
siguro
team ng
nila
babae. So, ito na, yung foreign consultant, these are bali-balita lang, pinag-uusapan lang. Foreign consultant, huwag nyo nang itigil nyo na yan. So, ito na, nagbabanggaan na sila, hindi na alam kung ano ang gagawin. Kasi kahit anong paninira kay PRRD, lumalabas, sikat na sikat pa rin. Nagiging star. Meron ngang kwan dito, Floriano Di Gulo. Duterte time, sabi niya. May mga picture eh. Duterte time, drug lords hide like a rat. Marcos time, drug lords shine like a star. So may nag-comment, exactly, sabi ni Reka Eka. Ano pa ang mga comment? So, kayo, mag-comment din kayo. Ano ba? Totoo kaya itong balita na ito? Kung ako ang inyong tatanungin, wala pa akong, I had to get more reliable sources. As of now, bali-balita lang ito. Bahala sila. Isa lang masasabi ko. Ang greediness. Kung ang isang tao mapasukan ng spirit of greediness, wala talagang kapupuntahan yan dahil wala kang contentment. Kahit billions pa yung hawak mo na, you will yearn for more. Kulang na kulang yun because yung gumagalaw sa buhay ng tao, yung greed. So dahil sa greediness na yan, greed for power, greed for money, for fame, magbabanggaan talaga. So, ano ba ito? Signal na ba ito ng yung samahan? Kasi dati, itong dalawang faction na ito, they support each other. So kung totoo yung bali-balita, wala na, magkakaano na. So, sabi ni Crisette Laureta Chu na sana ang Pangulo will stand on his own na ipakita na yung leadership niya para isa lang ang pipiliin niya sa dalawang grupo. Na sana yung grupo ng babae ang piliin niya, yung grupo ng lalaki, it's a puwera na. So ang tanong is, may political will bang Pangulo na siya nang titindig and he will call the shots? Parang malakas yung grupo ng lalaki. Okay, so punta tayo sa ibang balita. Yung tungkol sa usapin naman na alin ang mas tahimik na panahon? Panahon ni PRRD o panahon ng Marcos Jr.? Pakinggan natin ang isang political consultant na klaro ang sabi niya, mas kalmante, mas safe noong panahon ni PRRD kumpara ngayon. Ito, panoorin natin ang balitang ito sa SMNI.
No, I would like to say for the record that there is a difference kasi between what the number says, no, and with what the people actually feel on the ground, no. So you really need to really parang touch base with the people and ask them and talk to them. Okay, kasi this is something that I actually do, no, because as a social scientist, as a political scientist, I go around and I ask people, and that's the sentiment, no, that's the sentiment of many right now, that if they're going to compare during the time of President Duterte, they felt a lot safer as compared right now.
Ano ho ba yung assessment po ninyo sa naganap na Senate hearing kaugnay nga po dito sa drug war ng Duterte administration?
Yes, actually I was there, no. I was physically present sa gallery and I intently observed the proceedings mula nung umpisa, no, hanggang sa matapos siya. Actually, we ended up really quite late already, no, mga 8 past 8 na yata natapos yung hearing. Pero the way I see it, I believe it's really a very smooth hearing. I think I would also like to give credit to the chairman of the hearing, Senator Coco Pimentel, because he was able to, really organize and set the tone for the hearing. He was able to also pacify both camps whenever things
Correct.
get a bit heated. I think he was able to
Agree
really
ako
navigate us through the hearing quite well. So that's a very good thing. But I think the highlight of the hearing really was the remarks, no, or the remarks that were made by President Duterte. And dito kitang-kita natin kung paano siya minahal talaga ng maraming Pilipino at kung gaano siya talaga na-miss ng marami sa atin, particularly the manner of his delivery, the jokes that he actually are able to pull through, no, at the right time. And I think talagang kahit sa Sokbed during that time, I was also monitoring the comments and all. I think there was really an outpouring of love and support for the president because he was able to provide the narrative very well. And ang kagandahan kasi rito is hindi nagbago yung kanyang stance, no? Mula nung mayor siya, mula nung naging president siya ng 2016 hanggang ngayon na wala na siya sa katungkulan, he still maintains that the reason that he is fighting drugs is because he loved his country so much that he wouldn't want the future generations to actually be parang involved or to become enmeshed again in this menace, no. So he's
Correct.
actually doing it definitely not for himself, but he's really doing it for the country and for the future generations. He doesn't want this country to be destroyed, and he believes that the only thing and the one thing that will put us in peril, of course, is drugs. Kasi nga maganda yung kanyang maganda yung spin kasi na yung drugs siyang dahilan din kung bakit may kriminalidad, kung bakit may corruption, kung bakit maraming mga nangyari hindi maganda sa ating lipunan. So I think he maintained that, no? Hindi nagbago yung kanyang tono, yung kanyang naratibo mula noon hanggang ngayon. So I think that's good about his statement.
Opo, pero personally, Prof, sa inyo, maganda ho bang naidulot ng drug war ng Duterte administration?
Well, para sa akin, personally, and as an observer and as an ordinary citizen, definitely, I would say so. Ibang-iba yung complexion nung panahon ni President Duterte, no. During that time, you feel safe, no. I mean, I think many of our countrymen also will comment on the same thing. You feel safe, especially if you are sabihin na natin, a citizen who does the right things, no. In short, mas maganda at mas naging maayos yung ating buhay noon in terms of peace and order during that time. Lalo na kung ikaw isang maayos na mamamayan. Pero kung ikaw kriminal, no, it's really difficult because the leadership during that time was really bent on taking hold of these criminals and making them pay for what they have done. No? So kumpara ngayon, I would say definitely mas naging maganda yung takbo ng ating kaayusan ng panahon na yon. Ngayon nga medyo nakakalungkot dahil unti-unti, no, nakikita natin nagbabalikan na naman, tumataas yung criminality at nandiyan din yung mga maraming nawawalang mga bata, nawawalang mga tao, and I think this is also attributed to the onslaught again of rampant criminality. And sometimes nangyayari to in broad daylight, no? So I think we need to really, it all boils down to the leadership, no? So when you have a leader na kayang mag-impose at kayang magbigay ng isang kamay na bakal, talagang susunod at mayroon takot yung tao, no? Lalo na kung ikaw naman pero kung ikaw sabihin na natin maayos na mamamayan at wala ka namang nilalabag, wala kang ginagawang mali, hindi ka dapat mangamba.